Hello guys, I hope you are all doing great. Here we will quickly show the new deck list for the 7 total new cards revealed for the advent of the Eyes of Blue structure deck. This video might be long because it has in-depth information about how to use the deck plus tips and tricks we will use, so prepare good snacks and refreshments if you like. After we finish quickly seeing the deck list, we will explain every card we will use, why and how to use them, and we will go through many combos with analysis for many different card combinations. If you like videos like this one, remember to drop a like and subscribe, so I know to make more videos like this in the future. So without further ado, we are going to start with explaining why and how to use every card of the main and extra deck. I will also include this deck list in the description of the video. First, we have 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon, the reason this deck exists and works. We run 3 copies because sometimes 3 are not even enough. In some cases, we will even shuffle a copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon into the deck with Ultimate Fusion to be able to do the most out of our plays. We want this card in the deck, in the hand, on the field and in the graveyard. Next we have 1 copy of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. The deck has many ways to summon this card from everywhere, deck, hand, graveyard or banishment. We want to use this card's first effect to get high ritual art to our hand, then we can use Abyss as material for our extra deck monsters and use its third effect from the graveyard to boost our big dragon's attack by 1000 permanently. We can also use the second effect to search a level 8 or higher dragon monster like Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon during the end phase if we keep Abyss on the field. Next we have 1 copy of High Ritual Art. We can get this card to our hand with Abyss Dragon's effect. We only need to get a copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon to our hand, and we can summon any level 8 ritual monster from the deck, like the Chaos level 8 ritual monsters, to use as material for Master Magia. The ritual monster we summon returns in the deck during our opponent's end phase, but only if it is still on the field. If we summon Magician of Black Chaos Max with this card and use Magician's effect, we can lock our opponent out of using monster effects for the rest of the turn. This turns High Ritual Art into a searchable pseudo called By the Grave that can protect our board from further monster hand traps and can also force the activation of cards like Nibiru the Primal Being before we summon Magia. We can also summon Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon with High Ritual Art to use it as a Blue Eyes monster extender too. Searching High Ritual Art with Abyss and using it to summon the Chaos monsters from the deck is an interaction I haven't seen anyone else using on YouTube. Next we have 1 copy of Magician of Black Chaos Max. We can summon this card with High Ritual Art on our turn, or with Majesty with Dragons of White's graveyard effect even on the opponent's turn, and this card can lock them out of activating monster effects for the rest of the turn. This monster can also get spell cards from the graveyard to our hand when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle. This way we can recycle great one-off spells from the graveyard like Ultimate Fusion for example. These tricks we will see of course in the combo analysis part of the video, where we will see how to double lock the opponent with Magician and Calamity effects with Magia and Spirit Ultimate on the field too, using many different combinations of 3 cards only. We can get this card in our hand with Herald of the Archlight's graveyard effect. Next we have 1 copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. We can summon this card the same ways we summon Magician of Black Chaos, to use it as an extender, or to summon it to attack over huge stats monsters, using its battle phase effect, something we cannot do if we choose to use Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon instead. We can also send it to the graveyard to use as material for Master Magia, using the next card. Next we have 1 copy of Dragon Ravine. We will search this card with Ancient Fairy Dragon's effect and use it to send many useful dragons to the graveyard, to use their graveyard effects, or to use them as materials from the graveyard. These include all the dragons we have in our deck list. Dragon Ravine will also discard cards from our hand that we need to be in the graveyard, too. Next we have 1 copy of Synchro Rumble. We search this card with Crimson Dragon's effect. Note that every card in the deck is searchable through the combos we will show. Synchro Rumble is used as a searchable extender. Next we have 1 copy of Ringowurm the dragon guarding the 100 apples. Ringowurm is a great card in the hand, as it special summons itself, if we or the opponent control a non-effect monster. Not only that, but if we have Synchro summoned this turn, we can banish Ringowurm from the graveyard to summon a token too. It is the main target to send to the graveyard using Dragon Ravine for this deck list. Ringowurm in combination with Bystial Dis Pater makes a small combo we will see later in the video, that summons Herald of the Archlight. This way we get Herald on the field, and we can search a ritual spell or ritual monster, when Herald goes to the graveyard. Herald will go to the graveyard to activate its negating effect. This interaction is also one trick I haven't seen anyone else use on YouTube videos. And it allows us to get Magician of Black Chaos Max to our hand, and summon it on our opponent's turn, using the graveyard effect of Majesty with Dragons of White, to use its effect to lock our opponent out of monster effects, for the rest of the turn. Up next, we have 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. A great normal summon, that can be a 1.5 card combo. We will see all the combos later in the video. Sage normal summon, can search any of our level 1 tuners from the deck. Sage in the hand, can also summon a Blue Eyes monster from the deck, by targeting an effect monster on the field, and sending it to the graveyard. We will be using this effect, mainly to summon Abyss from the deck. This effect can also trigger Maiden's effect. Sage can be searched, with Prayers with Eyes of Blue, Piri Reis Map, and Jack in the hand. 3 copies of Piri Reis Map are in the deck list, serving as 3 extra copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. You can only activate this card at the start of your main phase 1. 1 copy of Master with Eyes of Blue, it is a great one of, making many combos possible. It functions similar to Sage, adding one of our level 1 tuners from the graveyard to the hand, when you normal summon it. And when it is in the graveyard, it can target an effect monster to send it to the graveyard, to summon a Blue Eyes monster from the graveyard. This means it can summon Abyss from the graveyard to use its effect, and of course it can trigger Maiden's effect when it targets her too. Master can be searched, with Prayers with Eyes of Blue, Sage with Eyes of Blue, and it can be special summoned from the deck with 1-for-1. 3 copies of Maiden of White. It is a main combo piece, of every good Blue Eyes combo now. It has 3 amazing effects, and the goal is to use all 3 effects in one turn to facilitate the combos. Not only that, but it can be searched with Sage with Eyes of Blue, Jack in the hand, Prayers with Eyes of Blue, you can add it to your hand from the graveyard, with Master with Eyes of Blue, and you can send it from the deck to the graveyard, with Neo Kaiser Sea Horse's effect. It can also be special summoned from the deck, with 1-for-1. 2 copies of the White Stone of Legend. It is important for the combos, because it provides us with Blue Eyes White Dragons in the hand, which we need to use as discards, or tributes from the hand for ritual summoning the Chaos monsters. We want to see it in our hand, or search it, or send it from the deck to the graveyard. Running 2 copies, means we can always use Jack in the hand, since it is very rare to have 2 copies of it and Jack in the hand, in our hand, at the same time. We would run 3 copies even, if there was space in the deck, since seeing it in our opening hand is something we want, as we will see in the combos, later in the video. If we don't see it in our hand, it's fine, since we will search it in one way or another, anyway. It can be searched, with Sage with Eyes of Blue, Jack in the hand, Prayers with Eyes of Blue, added from the graveyard to our hand, with Master with Eyes of Blue, and sent to the graveyard from the deck, using Neo Kaiser Sea Horse, or even Dragon Ravine. Usually, we will just discard it for Prayers, or Dragon Ravine. 1 copy of 1-for-1, serves as an extra copy of Maiden of White, mainly, in order to achieve maximum consistency in the deck. But it can special summon any of our level 1 monsters from the deck, if needed. And it can discard monsters, useful in the graveyard, like the White Stone of Legend. 3 copies of Jack in the hand. It is an awesome search card, that I haven't seen anyone else use, yet. I believe it is a must-use, since having tuners in the hand is beneficial for the deck to combo easily, and even get through hand traps. 99% of the time, the tuner our opponent gets, doesn't matter, and we can get a beneficial tuner in our hand. We must be careful, not to reveal Master with Eyes of Blue with Jack in the hand, since it is a one-off in this deck list, and we will lose it, if our opponent takes it in their hand. We will always reveal a Sage, a Maiden, and a Legend with this card. One copy of Mausoleum of White is a must-have, since many combos we will see, rely on it 100% to work. The deck can work without it, but with a much lower power ceiling, so it is a recommended one-off, because we get it for free with Spirit with Eyes of Blue's effect anyway. If we open it in our hand, it is very rarely going to hurt our combo. 3 copies of Neo Kaiser Sea Horse. It is another great normal summon, and it can also be a 1.5 card combo. It can also special summon itself, if we control Blue Eyes White Dragon. Furthermore, it has an effect if it is sent to the graveyard from the field, that can send from the deck to the graveyard, useful cards, like Maiden of White, and the White Stone of Legend, or a Blue Eyes monster like Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon, or Abyss Dragon, so we can use their graveyard effects, or use them as materials from the graveyard for Master Magia. It can also target and manipulate the levels of our tuners, including itself, to give us the ability to perform different synchro summons. This targeting effect can also trigger Maiden's effect. We can use Neo Kaiser Sea Horse as material on the field, to link Summon Spirit with Eyes of Blue. We can use it together with a level 8 monster, to synchro summon Crimson Dragon properly, or we can use its on-field effect, to turn itself into a level 3 tuner, and use it together with a level 1 tuner and a level 8 Blue Eyes monster, to synchro summon Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon properly. This way, we can revive it from the graveyard or banishment, later in the duel. With all these different ways, we can trigger Neo Kaiser Sea Horse's graveyard effect. 3 copies of Bingo Machine Go. It is a great card to boost consistency in the deck, mainly because it can search prayers with Eyes of Blue. But if you get prayers, and Bingo Machine in your hand, at the same time, Bingo is not a dead card, it is actually a combo extender, since we have 6 more cards to choose from to reveal with its effect, and every one of them is beneficial to extend our combos. These are the different Blue Eyes monsters we run, and the different spells/traps we run in the deck, that mention Blue Eyes White Dragon in their text. We will see how these cards are beneficial extenders to our combos, later in the video. When we will search these one-off cards with Bingo Machine Go, it doesn't really matter which one we will get, since we will always be able to search specific spell/traps we may need, using True Light and Prayers with Eyes of Blue, after searching one of the 3 cards we revealed with Bingo Machine Go, randomly. Bingo Machine Go can be searched with Prayers with Eyes of Blue and True Light. This way, both Prayers and True Light can indirectly search Blue Eyes monsters. 3 copies of Prayers with Eyes of Blue are mandatory in the deck. It is the main card that guarantees we have combo every turn, and also makes us able to summon Magia, by giving us Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon for material in the graveyard. It can be searched with Bingo Machine Go and True Light. 1 copy of Saga of the Blue-Eyed Dragon is essential to run, as a searchable, extra way to summon Blue Eyes monsters from the deck, graveyard, or banishment, and can serve as an extender too. We can also use its graveyard polymerization-like effect, if we decide to run a fusion target in our extra deck. We cannot summon Herald of the Archlight, after we use this card's special summon effect, because Herald is not a dragon monster, but this is not stopping us from making other great dragon plays. It can be searched with Bingo Machine Go, Prayers with Eyes of Blue, and True Light. 1 copy of Ultimate Fusion. It is the card we will use to summon Dragon Master Magia. We have so many ways to get this card to our hand, that we only need to run 1 copy. It can be searched with Bingo Machine Go, Prayers with Eyes of Blue, and True Light. Because of the way Ultimate Fusion works, we cannot use any 3 Blue Eyes monsters with it to summon Magia, because Ultimate Fusion requires that we use at least 1 copy of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material. So the 2 ways to summon Magia are either by using 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and 1 Chaos, or Black Luster Soldier Ritual Monster, or by using 3 Blue Eyes monsters, including at least 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and 1 Chaos, or Black Luster Soldier Ritual Monster. In this deck list, we can use both ways. The second way, we will sometimes use in this deck list, to recycle Blue Eyes monsters into the deck, or extra deck, as we will see in the combos, later in the video. 1 copy of Majesty with Dragons of White. This card is a great searchable interruption for 2 reasons. Of course, it can pop up to 3 cards our opponent controls, and especially with this deck list we will be able to pop 3 cards 99% of the time. But its graveyard effect is also amazing, since it can ritual summon on any turn, even on turn 1, providing that we have the trap in the graveyard, and the appropriate materials to perform the ritual summon. So this graveyard effect can work as an extender, or an interruption, depending on what we summon. More specifically, in this deck list, we can summon Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon on turn 1 as an extender, or summon it to attack over huge stat monsters on turn 3, using its stat-changing battle phase effect, or we can summon Magician of Black Chaos Max, to lock our opponent out of using monster effects, for the rest of this turn. This Magician lock, is the star of this video, and of this deck list. We will run 1 copy of Majesty, since it is also highly searchable in this deck list. We can search it, with Bingo Machine Go, Prayers with Eyes of Blue, and True Light. The final card for the main deck, is 1 copy of True Light. It is a mandatory one-off in the deck list, since it makes all the plays we want to do possible, and super consistent too, and we run 22 cards in this deck. That can get us to use Maiden's effect, to place True Light face up in the spell/trap zone. This way, we will activate one of True Light's effects, even on the first turn. Having True Light in the hand, does not create any problem for the combos, as we can place it with Maiden's effect from the hand, deck, or graveyard. If we discard it and place it from the graveyard, we will not even lose any card advantage. True Light can be searched indirectly, with every card that gives us Maiden of White, and this is how we want to get it. It can also be searched directly, with Bingo Machine Go, and Prayers with Eyes of Blue. If this one-off card gets banished, we can retrieve it with Bystial Dis Pater's effect. Before we move to the extra deck, just a friendly reminder, to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with your friends, especially those who love the Blue Eyes deck, like we do. This will help me make more videos like this, in the future. And now, the first card in the extra deck, is none other than 1 copy, of Dragon Master Magia. This Goliath of a fusion monster is so good, and this new structure deck makes it super easy to summon. As of now, this card is very expensive to buy, but when the time comes for us in the TCG to get the structure deck, there will hopefully be a reprint, that makes the card affordable. On Master Duel, there will not be such a high price problem of course. Dragon Master Magia is a recommended one-off, but we could run a second copy in our extra deck, since it is relatively easy to summon it a second time, at turn 3, using this deck list. Dragon Ravine, can send Chaos Dragon to the graveyard, True Light, can give us another copy of Prayers, to get Ultimate Dragon to the grave again, and Magician of Black Chaos Max, can attack over an enemy monster, to get Ultimate Fusion from our graveyard to our hand. The only card we can remove from this deck list's extra deck, without lowering the deck's power ceiling much, is Cosmic Blazar Dragon, as long as we have Calamity still legal. 1 copy of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, we need to run in the deck, mainly as material for Magia's fusion summon. But we can summon it too if we want. 1 copy of Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon, is mandatory to run. It is a great boss monster, easy to cheat out with Spirit Dragon. We can also summon it properly with this deck list. This card made us able to cheat out on the field, level 12 Synchro Dragon monsters, in combination with Crimson Dragon. We can run a second copy of this card if we want. This way, we can summon it from the extra deck a second time, either properly, or by cheating it out with Spirit Dragon, or with Master Magia's floating effect, or even with Crimson Dragon, as long as we have a level 12 Synchro monster on the field. The last option is even considered a proper synchro summon. One copy of Cosmic Blazar Dragon is recommended to run as an extra level 12 Synchro Dragon monster to summon with Crimson Dragon. We choose this card since it is the strongest monster option we have available as of now, except for Calamity of course. One copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity, or just Calamity to make things simpler. It is in the deck list, mainly to perform the Calamity lock to our opponent, on their turn, making them skip their turn, in most cases. We will cheat it out on the field with Crimson Dragon. This is considered to be a proper synchro summon. We must be careful though, as Calamity's effect can miss its timing, if another card is activated when Calamity is summoned for example. This way, we will not be able to activate its effect, to lock our opponent out of monster effects, for the rest of the turn. The strength of this card in this deck list, is in how easy it is to summon on the opponent's turn. All we need is 2 Spirit Dragons on the field to perform this lock. The Magician of Black Chaos Max lock, is a little more difficult to do, even though we can perform it quite easily as well with this deck list. But Magician's effect cannot miss timing. Calamity, or an enabler of the Calamity lock, can potentially get banned in the future, because it is just too easy to do with these support cards. Hopefully, we will still have the ability to perform the Magician lock. Coming up next, we have one copy of Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon recycles itself when it uses its quick effect, and its effects are hard once per turn. So we really only need one copy in the extra deck. It is an amazing card to summon with Spirit Dragon's effect, to summon powerful Synchro Dragons. We must be careful as this way, Crimson Dragon will get destroyed at the end phase if it is still on the field, because of Spirit Dragon's effect, unless we have a way to save it, like a copy of Synchro Rumble in the graveyard. Crimson Dragon adds Synchro Rumble to our hand when it is summoned, which is really convenient. We can also Synchro summon Crimson Dragon properly, using Neo Kaiser Sea Horse and a level 8 non-tuner monster on the field. One copy of Bystial Dis Pater. This card is essential for this deck, because it is part of a small combo using Ringowurm, that ends up summoning Herald of the Archlight. And Herald is our only way to consistently search Magician of Black Chaos Max. Of course, Bystial Dis Pater is a great extender, and a very good interruption on the field. It is also a way to special summon our monsters from the banishment, and recycle any of our banished cards with its effects. With this deck list, we can summon it using Ringowurm, or the token it can generate and a level 8 non-tuner dragon monster on the field. We can summon it using a level 1 tuner and a level 9 non-tuner dragon monster like Spirit Dragon, or even by targeting a level 1 tuner with Neo Kaiser Sea Horse's effect, to turn it into level 2, and using it and a level 8 non-tuner dragon monster on the field. Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon also has synergy with Dis Pater, as it can banish itself from the graveyard with its effect to get us a monster in the banishment for Dis Pater to summon. We can use Dragon Ravine to send Abyss to the graveyard, banish Abyss with its own effect, and special summon it with Bystial Dis Pater, to get High Ritual Art from the deck to our hand, and High Ritual Art can then summon one of the Chaos Ritual monsters from the deck. We will run 3 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Similar to the 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon, sometimes 3 copies of Spirit Dragon are not enough, as we can actually summon 4 of them in the first 2 turns of the duel, to make our plays. And yes, if we need to, we will recycle 1 copy with Ultimate Fusion, just so we have enough of them to summon. So 3 copies is mandatory to not lower the deck's power ceiling substantially. 1 copy of Stardust Dragon. We need at least 1 copy of this card in our extra deck, to be able to use Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon's effect. This interaction gives us a lot of advantage, as we will see in the combo section of the video. Stardust Dragon is a great card, that can offer us protection from destruction effects, and it is also a level 8 non-tuner dragon synchro effect monster. These details of the card, make it very valuable on our field, because they mean that we can use it in many ways as material for our monster summons, and we can summon it from the graveyard with Synchro Rumble too. This final sentence applies also to our next card. 1 copy of Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon. We will summon this card in our combos using Ancient Fairy Dragon and a level 1 tuner. It is by far the best option to run in the extra deck, to summon using the Ancient Fairy Dragon we will usually have on the field. It just gives so much advantage, and ends up summoning another Spirit Dragon on our opponent's turn, which is one of the main goals of this deck list. Not only that, but it can also be special summoned from the graveyard with Synchro Rumble. 1 copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon. This card is useful to perform the Magician Lock, as it searches Dragon Ravine. Without Dragon Ravine, we cannot consistently send Ringowurm from the deck to the graveyard, to end up summoning Herald, and getting Magician of Black Chaos Max from the deck to our hand. 1 copy of Herald of the Archlight. It has an excellent negate, and a great floodgate effect. It can also search ritual spells or ritual monsters. Essential to consistently search Magician of Black Chaos Max. Last but not least, we need to run at least 1 copy of Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This card gives new life to the old support cards, as it searches Mausoleum of White on summon, or it can send it to the graveyard. We can also tribute it to special summon a Blue Eyes monster from our hand or graveyard. This effect can special summon Blue Eyes effect monsters, allowing us to use their effects, but only when we special summon them from the hand, as it negates their effects if it summons them from the graveyard, and makes them unable to attack. So this card can summon Abyss Dragon from the hand without negating its effect. Before we jump to the combos, we will see 7 honorable mentions. These 7 cards can have a comfortable place in this deck list, depending on what we want to achieve. First and foremost, we have Burst Stream of Destruction. Going first, this card is most probably a brick, as our opponent will rarely summon monsters on the first turn, when we go first. So in this case, the usefulness of this card in the main deck is serving as a discard. If we know we will go second though, we will side in 1 copy of this card. We will get this card to our hand easily, after we send Mausoleum of White to the graveyard and use its graveyard effect. In this case, we get a free Reigeki-like spell, and bonus points for using the card with the coolest name and artwork. The drawback of the card, that doesn't let Blue Eyes White Dragons attack in the same turn, is not relevant, as we will summon different monsters, using the Blue Eyes White Dragons from the field as materials, and attack with them. Burst Stream of Destruction is also searchable with Bingo Machine Go, Prayers with Eyes of Blue, and True Light. Next up, we have Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. The strength of this card lies mainly in how easy it is to summon with Prayers with Eyes of Blue's graveyard effect. It is an excellent beater with trap card immunity and high attack, and can clear the field easily, attacking every enemy monster once each, and on top of that, it can recover trap cards from the graveyard once per turn after it battles. So it can set from the graveyard True Light, and Majesty with Dragons of White, which can be very useful, especially for long duels. For the first turn, it is not really needed for this deck list, but going second, it is an excellent card to side in the extra deck, as it can break boards by itself. The next card is Vision with Eyes of Blue. This card can be a very good one-off for this deck list for many reasons. It is useful for turn 1, as it can work as a highly searchable extender, because of how easily we can get Blue Eyes White Dragons in the hand for Vision to summon. Vision can special summon Blue Eyes monsters from the hand, like Abyss Dragon for example, allowing us to use their effects, similar to Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and it can even special summon any monster from the hand with its activation effect, or if you target Blue Eyes White Dragon with its effect. It is also another card that can target Maiden of White to trigger her effect. And as if all those good things were not enough, this card can get Magician of Black Chaos Max from the field to the hand, after we summon Magician from the deck, using high ritual art. This way, we will have Magician of Black Chaos Max to the hand, to summon it on our opponent's turn with Majesty with Dragons of White to lock them. In this case, we do not need to use another way to search Magician, like Herald of the Archlight. Vision also has the advantage, that it doesn't lock us into summoning only dragon monsters from the extra deck after we use it. On the other hand, Saga of the Blue-Eyed Dragon can summon Abyss Dragon straight from the deck. Now that we know both cards' pros and cons, we can use the card we need for every situation. And run one, or the other, or both of them in the main deck, if we want. This card can be searched, with Bingo Machine Go, Prayers with Eyes of Blue, and True Light. Next, we have Galactic Spiral Dragon. This card can be an excellent one-off, as a target to send to the graveyard with Dragon Ravine, if you want a level 8 Dark Dragon effect monster extender. It is especially great for going into rank 8 XYZ plays, because of its on-field effect, and it can special summon itself once per turn from the graveyard or hand, again and again, if used as a material for an XYZ monster, because XYZ monster materials don't count as monsters leaving the field. If Spiral does leave the field, it gets banished, and can be special summoned from the banishment with Bystial Dis Pater's effect. The last card we will give details about in this video, is Stardust Sifr Divine Dragon. This card is an excellent alternative level 12 Synchro Dragon monster, that we can summon with Crimson Dragon. It protects each individual card we control from destruction from card effects or battle, once per turn, every turn, including itself. This effect can stop the end phase destruction of monsters summoned with Spirit Dragon's effect. This effect does not stack if we have 2 Stardust Sifr Divine Dragons on the field, but it is an excellent protection effect for our already powerful board, which is full of negates, floating effects, and locks. Sifr can also negate a monster effect every turn, and then it has to non-targeting pop any one card on the field. Destroying one card on the field is mandatory, so if our opponent doesn't control any cards, Sifr must destroy one of our own cards. Its protection effect though, can prevent that destruction. The advantage of this effect, is that Sifr can negate the effect of an opponent's monster, but then destroy a different card our opponent controls. In this case, this effect acts like a pseudo-double interruption. Sifr also has synergy with the other 2 Stardust monsters we have in our extra deck, as it can banish itself from the graveyard, to revive one of them. If we need to get rid of problematic enemy monsters, we can use from the extra deck number 77, the 7 Sins, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, or Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, for a Blue Eyes monster option, depending on the situation. And that's all for giving details about the cards of the deck. I plan to upload another video, talking about more cards we could use in the deck, as soon as I can, so stay tuned to not miss it, if you are interested in more tips and tricks. Now we will head to the combos analysis section of the video. But before we do that, remember to like this video, subscribe, comment, and share this video to help this channel. This way, I will maybe get to buy a proper microphone soon, and I will not need to use this robot voice anymore.
What?
Now let's jump to the combo section of this video.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
We will start with the 1.5 card combos. We all have probably seen online, combos almost the same as the first 2 combos we will now see in this video, even though this deck list makes them a little better. But the combos that will follow later in the video, I haven't seen anywhere else. So if you like seeing original content like all the later combos, starting with combo 3, then please drop a like, and subscribe to support this channel. First we have the Sage with Eyes of Blue 1.5 card combo, which can also be done with Piri Reis Map or Jack in the hand. As we see here, we start with Sage and a discard. We will normal summon Sage and search for Maiden. Activate Maiden to place True Light face up. Use True Light to set prayers. We link summon Spirit with Eyes of Blue using the Sage on the field. Use Spirit's effect to add Mausoleum, and we can activate it on the field spell zone. We activate Prayers, discarding a card to add Master and Ultimate Fusion. We will normal summon Master and add Sage from the graveyard to our hand. We can then second activate Mausoleum targeting a face-up monster we control in order to send a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck to the graveyard. We then activate Link Spirit's effect to special summon that Blue Eyes from the graveyard. This will trigger Maiden to special summon herself. We use Prayer's Graveyard effect to equip Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon to the Blue Eyes on the field. We activate Sage's hand effect targeting Maiden, to summon Abyss from the deck. Chain Maiden to special summon the Sage from the graveyard. Abyss will search high ritual art on summon. We synchro into Spirit Dragon using Master and the Blue Eyes. And we use Spirit's effect to special summon Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon will then destroy Mausoleum to search Dragon Ravine. Using Ancient Fairy Dragon and the Sage on the field, we synchro summon Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon, and on summon it will revive Sage from the graveyard again. Sage and Abyss will synchro into a second Spirit Dragon, which will tag out into Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon will search Synchro Rumble on summon. We can use Dragon Ravine discarding high ritual art to send Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon from the deck to the graveyard. We can then activate Ultimate Fusion using the Chaos Dragon and the Blue Eyes Ultimate from the grave to fusion summon Dragon Master Magia. Synchro Rumble will revive Sage, and Master will target Sage and send it to the grave with its graveyard effect, to revive Spirit Dragon. Before we end our turn, we will banish Abyss to boost our dragon's attack by 1000 permanently. And at the end phase we will banish Synchro Rumble to prevent Crimson Dragon from getting destroyed because of Spirit Dragon's effect. On the opponent's draw phase, True Light will summon a Blue Eyes and Maiden will summon herself as a result. On the main phase 1, Accel Synchro will tribute itself to summon Stardust Dragon and let us synchro into another Spirit Dragon using the Blue Eyes and the Maiden. Spirit will cheat out Spirit Ultimate Dragon and Crimson Dragon will target Spirit Ultimate to summon Calamity. Calamity will then activate its effect to lock our opponent from activating cards or effects on the field for the rest of this turn. Next we have the Neo Kaiser Sea Horse 1.5 card combo. We will normal summon Sea Horse. Link summon Link Spirit. And search for Mausoleum, and send Maiden to the grave for Sea Horse's effect. Mausoleum will target Link Spirit to send a Blue Eyes to the grave. And Link Spirit will tribute itself to revive the Blue Eyes. Maiden will special summon herself. And we will use her effect to send her to the grave to place True Light face up. True Light can then set prayers. And prayers will discard to add Sage and Ultimate Fusion. We will equip Ultimate Dragon to the Blue Eyes on the field using prayers grave effect. We can then normal summon Sage and search Master. And synchro summon into Spirit. Spirit will tag out into Ancient Fairy Dragon, which will special summon Master with its effect. Ancient Fairy Dragon will then destroy Mausoleum, to add Dragon Ravine. Ancient Fairy and Master can synchro into Accel Synchro, which will revive Maiden. Master from grave can target Maiden to revive a Blue Eyes and Maiden will revive Sage, and they can synchro into a second Spirit. Spirit will become Crimson Dragon with its effect and Crimson Dragon will add Synchro Rumble on summon. Dragon Ravine can then discard Synchro Rumble to mill Chaos Dragon. And we will activate Ultimate Fusion using Ultimate and Chaos Dragon from the grave to fusion summon Dragon Master Magia. At the end phase we will banish Synchro Rumble to keep Crimson Dragon on the field. On the opponent's draw phase, True Light will summon Blue Eyes and Maiden will come with him to the field with her effect. On the main phase 1, Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon will tribute itself to summon Stardust Dragon and synchro summon another Spirit using the Blue Eyes and the Maiden from the field. Spirit will tag out into Spirit Ultimate Dragon, and Crimson Dragon can then target Spirit Ultimate to summon Calamity to lock our opponent. It surprises me that I haven't seen people saying Maiden is a 1.5 card combo, so I included it here. So this is the Maiden 1.5 card combo, which can be done with Jack in the hand too. We start by sending Maiden to the grave to place True Light face up. True Light sets prayers, and we will activate prayers discarding a card to add Sage and Ultimate Fusion. We normal summon Sage, we add Master, and we link into Link Spirit which will add Mausoleum. We can then activate Mausoleum to second normal summon Master and return Sage from the grave to our hand. Mausoleum will target one face-up monster we control to mill a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Link Spirit will tribute itself to revive that Blue Eyes and Maiden will revive herself as a result. Prayer's grave effect will equip Blue Eyes Ultimate to the Blue Eyes on the field. We will use Sage from the hand to send Maiden to the grave, and summon Abyss Dragon from the deck, and Maiden will trigger to revive the same Sage. Abyss will add high ritual art. We will synchro summon Spirit using Master and the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Spirit will tribute itself to cheat out Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy will destroy Mausoleum to search Dragon Ravine, and then we will synchro summon Accel Synchro using Fairy Dragon and the Sage, and Accel Synchro will revive Sage on summon. Sage and Abyss will synchro into another Spirit Dragon, which will use its effect to tag out into Crimson Dragon, and Crimson Dragon will add Synchro Rumble on summon. We will use Dragon Ravine to discard high ritual art and send Chaos Dragon to the grave, and then we can fusion summon Magia with Ultimate Fusion. After we summon Magia, we can use Synchro Rumble to summon a tuner like Sage, and Master from the grave can turn this Sage into a revived Spirit Dragon. Before we end our turn, we will banish Abyss to boost our dragon's attack by 1000 permanently, and at the end phase we need to banish Synchro Rumble to keep Crimson Dragon on the field. And the result of this combo is the same as the Sage 1.5 card combo. 21 cards in this deck list can perform a 1.5 card combo. There is no need for Burst Stream of Destruction in the main deck, for the first 3 combos we saw. Realistically, we will almost never need to perform the 1.5 card combos exactly as shown in this video when using this deck list, as we will have more cards to use in the hand, and we will be able to do even more on the first turn, but we see these combos in this video to see the whole picture of what the cards can do. Now we will see the Prayers with Eyes of Blue 1.5 card combo, which can also be done with Bingo Machine Go. For this combo to truly be a 1.5 card combo, we must run 1 copy of Burst Stream of Destruction in the main deck, and this is why we see it in this combo. The chance that we will actually need Burst Stream of Destruction as a discard to perform this combo though, is super minimal, as we always start with 5 cards on turn 1, and 6 cards on turn 2, and for this reason we don't run Burst Stream in the main deck, but we still consider this combo to be a 1.5 card combo. Of course, if we choose to main deck 1 copy of Burst Stream, we will not hurt the consistency of the deck significantly. I haven't seen anyone talk about this combo either, so here we go. We start by discarding a card to activate Prayers, and add Sage and Ultimate Fusion. We normal summon Sage, and add Maiden to the hand. Maiden can then place True Light face up, and True Light will set Saga of the Blue-Eyed Dragon. Saga will summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck, and Maiden will revive herself as a result. Prayers will equip Blue Eyes Ultimate to the Blue Eyes on the field, and we will use Sage and the Blue Eyes to synchro summon Spirit. Spirit will tribute itself to summon Crimson Dragon, which will add Synchro Rumble on summon. We will link off Maiden to summon Link Spirit, and add Mausoleum to our hand. Link Spirit will tribute itself to revive Blue Eyes. Synchro Rumble will revive Maiden, and Mausoleum will target her to send a Blue Eyes White Dragon to the grave, and trigger her effect to revive Sage. The Blue Eyes and Maiden will synchro into a second Spirit, which will use its effect to turn into Ancient Fairy Dragon. And Fairy Dragon will destroy Mausoleum to add Dragon Ravine. Mausoleum can banish itself from the graveyard to add Burst Stream of Destruction to the hand. And Dragon Ravine can discard it to mill Chaos Dragon. Fairy Dragon and Sage will synchro summon Accel Synchro, which will revive Sage on its summon. Before we end our turn, we will set Ultimate Fusion, and on the end phase we will banish Synchro Rumble to save Crimson Dragon from destruction. On the opponent's draw phase, True Light can summon Blue Eyes, and Maiden will then revive herself. On main phase 1, we can activate Accel Synchro and Ultimate Fusion, to summon Magia, Stardust Dragon, and synchro summon Spirit Dragon. Spirit will summon Spirit Ultimate Dragon, and Crimson Dragon will summon Calamity to lock our opponent, as we can do in all the 1.5 card combos we saw. Now let's see the 2.5 card combos, and how we can end up with a double lock on the opponent's turn, using Magician of Black Chaos Max and Calamity, while also having Magia, and Spirit Ultimate Dragon on the field. For this combo, the first card can be Sage, or Maiden, or Legend, or Neo Kaiser, or Piri Reis Map, or Jack in the hand. The same goes for the second card. And the third card can be Prayers, or Bingo Machine Go, or Ultimate Fusion, or Majesty. In this category, we also include the chance to get Saga as the third card, in which case we do not double lock, but we make a stronger board than with the 1.5 card combos. Because the possible different combinations of 3 cards, that can make this same double lock combo are so many, and at the same time these cards sum up to 27 copies in this 40 card deck list, which is almost 70% of the deck, we consider this combo to be a 2.5 card combo, at least for this specific deck list. We will start with Sage, Maiden, and Prayers double lock combo. It is exactly the same as the Sage, Legend, and Prayers combo, and the combos that use each individual card searcher cards, with the only difference being the first couple of steps every time. The first step of the combo is to normal summon Sage, and add Legend. Prayers will discard Legend to add Master and Majesty, and Legend will add a Blue Eyes to the hand. Maiden will place True Light face up, and True Light can set Ultimate Fusion. We will link summon Link Spirit, using Sage as material, and search Mausoleum. We can activate Mausoleum, second normal summon Master, and add Sage from the graveyard to our hand. Mausoleum can mill a Blue Eyes targeting one of our face-up monsters, and Link Spirit contribute itself to revive that same Blue Eyes. Maiden will trigger to revive herself, and Prayers will equip Blue Eyes Ultimate to the Blue Eyes on the field. Sage will send Maiden to the grave to summon Abyss from the deck, and Maiden's effect will trigger to revive Legend. Abyss will add High Ritual Art on summon. We can then activate High Ritual Art to ritual summon Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon from the deck, tributing the Blue Eyes White Dragon from our hand. Legend and the Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field will synchro summon Spirit, and Legend will add another Blue Eyes to our hand. Spirit will tag out into Fairy Dragon, which will destroy Mausoleum to add Dragon Ravine. Dragon Ravine can then discard Majesty, to send Ringowurm from the deck to the graveyard. We will synchro summon Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon, using the Fairy Dragon and the Master from our field, and Accel Synchro will revive Legend on summon. Legend and Chaos Dragon can then synchro summon a second Spirit Dragon, which can tag out into Crimson Dragon, and we will search Synchro Rumble as a result. Synchro Rumble can revive Ringowurm, which together with Abyss Dragon will synchro summon Bystial Dis Pater. Ringowurm will banish itself to summon a token, and Dis Pater can special summon Ringowurm from the banishment. Ringowurm and its token on the field will then synchro summon Herald of the Archlight. Before we end our turn, we will banish Abyss, to boost our dragon's attack by 1000 permanently. And in the end phase, we will banish Synchro Rumble, to keep Crimson Dragon on the field. On the opponent's draw phase, True Light will revive a Blue Eyes, and Maiden will revive herself. On the main phase 1, we can use Herald of the Archlight to negate an activation and tribute itself. We can also activate Accel Synchro as Chain Link 3, and Chain Ultimate Fusion 2. Ultimate Fusion will summon Magia, Accel Synchro will tribute itself to summon Stardust Dragon, and Synchro summon Spirit Dragon using Blue Eyes and Maiden from the field. Herald's effect will trigger, to add Magician of Black Chaos Max to our hand, and Spirit will tribute itself to cheat out Spirit Ultimate Dragon. Crimson Dragon can then summon Calamity for the Calamity lock, and Majesty from the grave will ritual summon Magician of Black Chaos Max from our hand, tributing Blue Eyes White Dragon from our hand. Magician will then activate, to tribute one of our monsters, and establish the Magician Lock 2, for a double lock. If we ask ourselves, why double lock? Isn't this too much? Well, the long answer is that there are many ways the Calamity lock can fail: Dark Ruler no more, Forbidden Droplet, other cards that may prevent the Calamity lock, or just make the Calamity effect lose its timing, and even some decks that can break boards under Calamity lock. For all these reasons, it is very beneficial to have a second plan of action. So our goal on the second turn, is to first attempt the Calamity lock. This way we can force some answer from our opponent, and if they have the answer to Calamity, we then summon Magician of Black Chaos Max, and Dragon Master Magia, to finish the duel. The short answer is, because we can. And here is how. Next, we will see how the same combo works with Sage, Kaiser, and Prayers. We will normal summon Kaiser, and link it off into Link Spirit. Link Spirit and Kaiser will trigger, to add Mausoleum to our hand, and send Legend to the graveyard, and Legend will trigger to add a Blue Eyes to our hand. We will then activate Mausoleum, and second normal summon Sage, to search Maiden. Maiden can then place True Light face up, and True Light will set Ultimate Fusion. Prayers will discard the Blue Eyes to add Master and Majesty to our hand. Link Spirit can then tribute itself, to revive that same Blue Eyes, and Maiden will then revive herself. Prayers can then equip Blue Eyes Ultimate to the Blue Eyes on the field, and we will use Sage and the Blue Eyes, to Synchro Summon Spirit. Spirit will cheat out Fairy Dragon, which can then special summon Master from our hand, and then Fairy Dragon will destroy Mausoleum, to add Dragon Ravine to our hand. The Ancient Fairy Dragon and the Master, will Synchro Summon Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which will revive Legend on summon. Dragon Ravine can discard Majesty, to mill Ringowurm. Master from the grave, will send Maiden from the field to the graveyard, to revive Spirit, and Maiden will trigger, to revive Blue Eyes White Dragon. Blue Eyes White Dragon and Legend, can then Synchro Summon another Spirit Dragon. Legend will trigger to add a Blue Eyes, and Spirit will cheat out Crimson Dragon, which will add Synchro Rumble on summon. Synchro Rumble can then revive Legend, and together with the revived Spirit they will Synchro Summon Bystial Dis Pater, and Legend will trigger again, to add another Blue Eyes to our hand. Ringowurm will banish itself to summon a token, and Dis Pater will special summon Ringowurm from the banishment, and together they will Synchro Summon Herald. At the end phase of course, we need to banish Synchro Rumble from the graveyard, to keep Crimson Dragon on the field. On the opponent's turn, we will get to do basically the same things, as we did in the previous version of the combo, with the main difference being, that we can use a Blue Eyes White Dragon, a Spirit Dragon, Magician, and Blue Eyes Ultimate, as materials from the graveyard with Ultimate Fusion, for the fusion summon of Magia. This way, we get to recycle Blue Eyes Spirit, so we can summon it again later, and Blue Eyes White Dragon, so we can potentially add it to the hand again, later in the duel. We get the same end board, with double locking the opponent, and Magia and Spirit Ultimate on the field too. Now the version using Kaiser, Maiden, and Prayers, goes like this. We normal summon Kaiser, and link summon Link Spirit. Link Spirit and Kaiser will trigger, to add Mausoleum, and send Legend to the graveyard, and Legend will search a Blue Eyes. Maiden can place True Light face up, and True Light will set Ultimate Fusion. Prayers will discard Blue Eyes to add Master and Majesty. We will activate Mausoleum, second normal summon Master, and add Legend from the grave to our hand. Link Spirit can revive the Blue Eyes that we discarded before for Prayers effect. And Maiden will then revive herself. Prayers will equip Blue Eyes Ultimate to the Blue Eyes on the field, and we will use Master and the Blue Eyes, to Synchro Summon Spirit. Spirit will cheat out Fairy Dragon, and Fairy Dragon will special summon Legend from our hand. Master will send Maiden to the graveyard to revive Spirit Dragon, and Maiden will trigger, to revive a Blue Eyes. Fairy Dragon will destroy Mausoleum to add Dragon Ravine, and together with Legend they will Synchro Summon Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon. Legend and Accel Synchro will trigger, to add a Blue Eyes to our hand, and revive the same Legend. Dragon Ravine will discard Majesty, to send Ringowurm to the graveyard. Legend and the Blue Eyes White Dragon will Synchro Summon another Spirit, and Legend will add another Blue Eyes to our hand. Spirit will cheat out Crimson Dragon, and it will add Synchro Rumble on summon. Synchro Rumble will revive Legend again, and together with the revived Spirit, they will Synchro Summon Bystial Dis Pater. From these combos, it is evident how useful Legend is for the deck, providing the Blue Eyes in the hand, to tribute for our ritual plays, use them as fusion materials, discards, or even to get access to them, so that we can always summon a Blue Eyes with True Light or the Link Spirit. We continue with banishing Ringowurm to summon its token, and Dis Pater will special summon Ringowurm from the banishment. Ringowurm and its token will summon Herald, and at the end phase we will banish Synchro Rumble, to keep Crimson Dragon on the field. On the opponent's turn, we will end up with the same board as before, establishing the double lock, and having Magia and Spirit Ultimate on the field. We must be careful with one thing though. With this version of the combo, we should activate Ultimate Fusion after Magician gets summoned, and uses its effect tributing itself, because we do not have Chaos Dragon in the graveyard this time, so if we use Ultimate Fusion before we summon Magician, then we will never get to summon it. Next, for the version using Kaiser, Legend, and Prayers. We start by activating Prayers discarding Legend, to add Sage and Majesty, and Legend will add a Blue Eyes to our hand. We will normal summon Sage, to add Master, and Link summon Link Spirit using Sage, to get Mausoleum. Link Spirit can then tribute itself to summon Blue Eyes from the hand, and Prayers will equip it with Blue Eyes Ultimate. We can now special summon Kaiser from the hand, because we control Blue Eyes White Dragon, and using Mausoleum, we can second normal summon Master, and add Legend from the grave to our hand. Kaiser and the Blue Eyes will synchro summon Crimson Dragon properly this time, and Crimson Dragon and Kaiser will trigger, to add Synchro Rumble, and send Maiden to the graveyard. Synchro Rumble can now revive Maiden, and with Mausoleum we can target her, and she will revive a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Using her and the Blue Eyes, we will synchro summon Spirit, and Spirit will cheat out Fairy Dragon. Fairy Dragon will special summon Legend from our hand, and then it will destroy Mausoleum, to add Dragon Ravine. We will activate Dragon Ravine discarding Majesty, to send Ringowurm to the graveyard. Fairy Dragon and the Master will synchro summon Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which will revive Ringowurm on summon. Master from the grave will send Legend to the graveyard to revive a Blue Eyes. This will trigger both Legend, to add a Blue Eyes to our hand, and Maiden to revive herself. Maiden will send herself to the graveyard from the field, to place True Light face up. Ringowurm and the Blue Eyes will synchro summon Bystial Dis Pater. True Light will set Ultimate Fusion. Ringowurm will banish itself from the grave to summon its token, and Dis Pater will special summon Ringowurm from the banishment. Together, Ringowurm and its token will summon Herald, and we end our turn here. We get the same board, with the double lock, Magia, and Spirit Ultimate, as before. We do not need to banish Synchro Rumble at the end phase of our turn this time, as we summon Crimson Dragon properly, and not by Spirit Dragon's effect, which means we can possibly use Rumble's protection effect later in the duel. Next up, we will see what happens when we don't start with Prayers, Sage, or Maiden in the hand. We will start with Kaiser, Legend, and Majesty, and see how we will get the same result. These double lock combos, and this specific version of the combo especially, took some solid time to figure out, as they get more and more tricky. They are originally created, from this channel. So I would like to give you a friendly reminder, to drop a like, and subscribe, to support this channel. This combo, also works, in a very similar way, if we change Majesty for Ultimate Fusion. First, we will normal summon Legend, and Link summon Link Spirit. Link Spirit searches Mausoleum, and Legend adds a Blue Eyes to our hand. Link Spirit can then tribute itself to summon the Blue Eyes from our hand, and Kaiser can then special summon itself. Kaiser and the Blue Eyes will synchro summon Crimson Dragon properly. Crimson Dragon will add Synchro Rumble, and Kaiser will send Maiden to the graveyard. Synchro Rumble will then revive Maiden, and Mausoleum will target her to mill a Blue Eyes White Dragon, and trigger her effect to revive a Blue Eyes. Maiden will send herself from the field to the graveyard to place True Light face up, and True Light will set Prayers. Prayers will discard Majesty, to add Master and Ultimate Fusion to our hand, and then it will equip Blue Eyes Ultimate to the Blue Eyes White Dragon we control. We will use Mausoleum to second normal summon Master, and add Legend from the grave to our hand. Master and the Blue Eyes will synchro summon Spirit Dragon, which will then cheat out Ancient Fairy Dragon. Fairy Dragon will special summon Legend from our hand, and then destroy Mausoleum to search Dragon Ravine. At this point, we will need another discard from our hand, which is fine, as we always start with 5 cards on turn 1. But if we choose so, we can main deck Burst Stream of Destruction, and add it to our hand with Mausoleum's graveyard effect as we see here. So we will continue, discarding Burst Stream with Dragon Ravine, to send Ringowurm to the grave. Fairy Dragon and Legend will synchro summon Accel Synchro, which will revive Ringowurm on summon, and Legend will add a Blue Eyes to our hand. Here we will make a twist in the combo, and synchro summon Bystial Dis Pater, using Accel Synchro and Ringowurm. Ringowurm will banish itself to summon its token, and Dis Pater will special summon Ringowurm from the banishment. Master from the grave will then send Dis Pater to the graveyard to revive a Blue Eyes, and Maiden will then revive herself. The Blue Eyes and the Maiden will now synchro summon Spirit Dragon. And Ringowurm with its token will synchro summon Herald. Before we end our turn, we will set Ultimate Fusion. On the opponent's turn, we are again able to establish the double lock, using Magician of Black Chaos Max and Calamity, while also getting Magia and Spirit Ultimate on the field. Of course, we get the Herald Floodgate effect, and its Omni-Negate and Destroy effect too, in all of these 2.5 card combos. If instead of Prayers, Majesty, or Ultimate Fusion, we get Saga of the Blue-Eyed Dragon in our hand, we cannot perform a double lock, with Magia and Spirit Ultimate at the same time, as the previous versions of the combo. But we can make a board, stronger than the 1.5 card combos. Here is how. We normal summon Sage, and add Legend. We use Maiden to place True Light face up, and True Light will set Prayers. Prayers will discard Legend to add Master and Ultimate Fusion, and Legend will add a Blue Eyes. We link summon Link Spirit to add Mausoleum, and we use Mausoleum to second normal summon Master, and add Sage from the grave to our hand. Mausoleum will send a Blue Eyes from the deck to the graveyard, and Link Spirit will tribute itself to revive that Blue Eyes. Maiden will then revive herself. Prayers will equip Blue Eyes Ultimate to the Blue Eyes on the field. Sage from the hand will send Maiden to the grave to special summon Abyss from the deck, and Maiden will trigger her effect, to revive Legend. Abyss Dragon will add High Ritual Art on summon, and High Ritual Art will ritual summon Magician of Black Chaos Max from the deck, to tribute itself and lock the opponent out of using monster effects like Nibber the Primal Being, for the rest of this turn. Legend and the Blue Eyes White Dragon will synchro summon Spirit Dragon. Legend effect triggers, and we chain Spirit Dragon special summon effect, and Ultimate Fusion, using a Blue Eyes White Dragon, a Spirit Dragon, Magician, and Blue Eyes Ultimate, as materials from the graveyard for the fusion summon of Magia. Chaining Ultimate Fusion to recycle Blue Eyes monsters after Legend triggers, can be useful to add a Blue Eyes White Dragon to our hand with Legend, when we do not have another Blue Eyes White Dragon in our deck. So we end up summoning Magia, getting a Blue Eyes in our hand, and cheating out Ancient Fairy Dragon. Fairy Dragon will destroy Mausoleum to add Dragon Ravine, and Dragon Ravine can now discard the Blue Eyes to send Ringowurm to the graveyard. Master and Fairy Dragon will synchro summon Accel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which will revive Legend on summon. Legend and Abyss Dragon will synchro summon Spirit. Legend will add another Blue Eyes to our hand, and Spirit will cheat out Crimson Dragon, which will add Synchro Rumble on summon. Here we will use Saga to summon a Blue Eyes, and Synchro Rumble will revive Ringowurm. Ringowurm and the Blue Eyes will synchro summon Dis Pater. Ringowurm will banish itself to summon its token, and Dis Pater will special summon Ringowurm from the banishment. Master from the grave will send Dis Pater to the graveyard to revive a Blue Eyes. The token, Ringowurm, and the Blue Eyes will synchro summon Spirit Ultimate Dragon properly. Crimson Dragon will target Spirit Ultimate to summon Cosmic Blazar Dragon. Before we end our turn, we will banish Abyss from the grave, to boost our dragon's attack by 1000 permanently. On the opponent's draw phase, True Light will summon Blue Eyes, and Maiden will then revive herself. On main phase 1, Accel Synchro will tribute itself to summon Stardust Dragon, and Synchro summon Spirit Dragon, using the Blue Eyes and the Maiden. Spirit will then cheat out Crimson Dragon, and Crimson Dragon will summon Calamity for the Calamity lock. In all the combos that we use High Ritual Art, to summon Chaos Ritual monsters from the deck, we have the option, to summon Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon, to use as an extender, or Magician of Black Chaos Max, to use its effect, and protect us from further monster hand traps, for the rest of this turn. In both cases, we will get the Chaos Ritual monster material in the graveyard, for the fusion summon of Dragon Master Magia. But summoning Magician of Black Chaos Max, is very useful to force a Nibiru activation, before we summon Magia, or in a case where our opponent is drawing cards as we combo, with Mulcharmy Furos for example. And the only drawback to choosing to summon Magician, is that we lose one monster on the field. But saving our board from a potential Nibiru, that the opponent can draw with Mulcharmy's effect, is worth losing only one monster from our field. The last two replays we will see next, are of two random hands. They will show us, that with a full hand of 5 cards on turn 1, it is quite easy to get the results of the 2.5 card combos, which we already saw in detail, and on top of that, summon Magician of Black Chaos Max on our turn, for extra protection from hand traps. That means that we will get to Ritual Summon Magician of Black Chaos Max, on both the first, and the second turn of the duel. While we watch them, I will not say anything more, I believe I said everything already. And you must be tired of this robot voice too. Also, writing the script for this video gave me back pain, so please remember to drop a like, and subscribe, so I know the pain was worth it. Heart emoji.